So the big question, I think, is what have I been up to so far? And there has been a lot, but again, because my position is in the background, you guys may not have noticed that. And so that's what I want to highlight. And one of the things I want to do going forward is really just kind of a monthly update of where we are as a church in discipleship, what we've been up to, maybe some of the hurdles that we have before us, and some of the needs that we may ask of you to help and be a part of answering those needs. Really, there have been two big projects that maybe from the user side don't look like a big deal, but from our side have taken quite a huge amount of time, effort, and really resource. Those two projects have been PCO, so Planning Center Church app, the Church Center app as you know it on your side, and grow groups. We've had variations of small groups and didactic classrooms of all the kinds. And to be completely clear with you, it's not that grow groups are really anything new under the sun. Life groups, cell groups, call them what you will, they've been around for a very long time. It is a way for a church ultimately to build that intimacy and accountability with the members in a way that you just don't get on a Sunday morning. There's hundreds of us. Not all of us know each other. So many of us will nod and see each other over the years, but never develop a real relationship with each other. So we recognize that the biggest need for really millennials and the generations below the millennials was for deep connection. Something we were missing in our culture was, don't think fellowship, if that's the word that comes to your mind, think real, deep friendships. If your marriage is falling apart, if you're struggling financially, if you're losing your job, if you're giving birth to another kid, if you're celebrating taking a promotion, who are the people you call immediately that maybe isn't your direct family, but that you love and want to celebrate with you, mourn with you, walk with you with wisdom? What we've discovered is holistically as a culture, we don't have friendships like that anymore. We don't even have time for friendships like that anymore. So as we prayed and said, God, we have a real issue, a real hurdle we got to get over, because part of being a church is being a family. Well, how do we do that? How do we do that with people who don't know each other, with hundreds of members and different services? How do we do that with different generations that have different likes and dislikes and priorities and non-priorities? How do we do that in a culture that doesn't foster this anymore? So this is where the idea of grow groups was born. Again, not a brand new idea by any means, but the focus and the execution of grow group, I think, is unique. Partly that in a lot of small groups or even Bible studies, the focus is about information dispersion, teaching. So the idea is that we have something to teach, you need to learn it, and hopefully go apply it. Although in a lot of sectors, that last part isn't even a part of it. It's just learn it and then keep learning, right? What we wanted with grow groups was we wanted real relationships built. So we have a priority list in grow groups. It's this first: real relationships. Again, not fellowship. They're building loyalty. They're actually showing up in each other's lives beyond the grow group, right? Their children are playing with each other. You're going out to eat together. You're maybe doing a Bible study together beyond the grow group. The idea here is that we foster areas, groups that highlight what it means to really be a family. And that is harder than I think most people think. In fact, it's so hard that when some people come into a grow group, they are uncomfortable and they don't want to be there because they recognize, wow, there is a real closeness to these people, and I'm either not ready for that or I feel exposed in that. Now, each grow group is built to add people in, and there's never any kind of exclusion in that. But I understand that if you're used to a regular Bible study where there's kind of like you stay over there and you stay over there and we'll share kind of surfacey things, grow groups are not that. They are meant intentionally to build deepness with one another. So that's the first highest priority. The second, of course, is what we're teaching. And a lot of grow groups focus on whatever was preached on the Sunday before, kind of how do we live this out together collectively and individually. Some use Right Now Media. There are different teaching courses and such there, and then some just really develop their own rhythms. But the thing I want to highlight with grow groups is it is very interactive. So if you're going to be a part of a grow group, the idea is that you have a part in it. So you're having conversations with one another. You're actually might even be challenging what somebody said or encouraging what somebody said. The idea is the facilitator, and we call them facilitators for a reason. They're not a leader in the sense of some kind of rulership or the boss, if you will, of the group. They're a shepherd. And as a shepherd, they facilitate that building of friendship and that conversation. So in some ways, you'll hear less from the facilitator and more from the group collectively. That is intentional. That's what we wanted. And thirdly on that list is how do we live this out together? And not everything we discuss has a direct application, but the idea is, am I praying over this? Am I seeking God over this? Do I have people who are praying over me and then I could call or text or whatever and connect with as I struggle with this in my marriage or with my children or my friendships or at my job or even high school if that's where you're plugging in. So that's kind of an overview snapshot of what grow groups are. We have all sorts of kinds of grow groups. There's the parent group, there's the co-ed group, there's a men's group that is off campus, there's a women's group as well. We have there's a newlywed group too that is off campus. And there's several other groups that are off campus as well. So we have a lot. I can't list them all. We have intention of building at least 2 to 3 more. We actually just ran out of room at the church. We don't have enough room, and so we're trying to do different days and off-campus groups, but this is a good problem to have. So let me clarify. Grow groups is brand new, has in the sense that this is not the way that we approach it. Those 3 things I listed are not ways that we've really approached groups before. Every group that we currently have is brand new. So that took a long time. And then thirdly, each facilitator in the groups have training. So I want to highlight that real quick. Only those who have gone through our facilitator training are allowed to be a facilitator. A couple reasons for that. One, that I have an understanding of who's teaching, and because we do things like check-ins with how are the groups going, what's going good, what are some hurdles, what are some things we can encourage each other with. 2, that we're unified in why we do grow groups. If you know anything about humans, we tend to, you'll be taught something, you're like, I got it, totally, and then a couple months later, you're kind of fraying off. And so, again, being the director, my idea is to make sure we're focused on the vision of what we're trying to execute, and how can I come alongside you as a facilitator and help you with that. So, they go through training. It's real easy, accessible. Anyone, literally, even a high schooler, could do the facilitator training. That again is intentional. The idea is that my job is to build programs and systems of doing things that I don't lead. Why? Well, if God forbid something happens to me or I eventually leave or something to that end, these groups continue going. The processes can be used without me. So even the facilitator training course is something I'm going to be handing off to someone down the line. Why? Again, we want to equip the saints to do what God has called them to do. I'm just one of those saints, and although I love doing it myself and being a part of that process, I want to equip others to step into those roles of leadership. So we have a sustainable facilitator training. We have accountability in that each group I check in with them as time goes on. And then coming soon, we're going to have a facilitator celebration where all the facilitators come together, share, pray, plan, cast vision for how we can do this better and love the saints that are a part of our groups even better. grow groups for us is the primary vehicle of building that deep friendship and learning how do we live this out together. It's not the only vehicle. We've got tons of awesome things that exist, Bible studies that are amazing, other small groups that are amazing. And so I don't by any means want to diminish what has preceded this and what currently goes on this in the midst of grow groups. But I did want to say this is something that we're moving into going forward.